Good evening, Village of Tuckahoe. This is the Zoning Board meeting for September 14th, 2022. We will start with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So my name is Christina Brown. I will be chairing the meeting this night because our chairperson, Tom Ringwald, was unable to be with us. So we will start with item 1, approval of the minutes of July 13th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
Make a motion.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor, roll call.
Member Peretta.
Here.
Member Fiore.
In favor.
Member Rinaldi.
In favor.
Member Suarez. And Chairperson Brown.
In favor. Okay. Item 2, 377 Marbledale Road is adjourned. Next up, we'll have 94 Kensington Road, a legalized conversion of a garage to an art studio.
Good evening, Madam Chairwoman and members of the board. I'm Leonard Brandis with Brandis Architects, representing my clients at 94 Kensington Road. This particular project is a small garage that was legally converted and had a variance back in 1980 to be converted for a studio for a writer to work as a commercial space. He did have an assistant working with him, and that's why I think he needed to have that variance. The garage is a small space, and at the end of the variance, it was told that he has to bring it back to way it was when he leaves. Well, he left about 20 years ago, and so it's now been 42 years since it was converted. Nobody ever knew about the change, that it had to be converted back. Never was brought up when it was, through several resales. Title companies never picked it up, and it was always continuing on. The current owner would like to maintain the space. At some point, a small powder room was added, and it was not supposed to have plumbing in it, but this was added at some point in the past 10 years before they bought it. So they want to keep the converted garage as a small family room. I'd like to come over. The space itself, as you can see, is a small garage structure in the back of the building. There's not very many entrances. This was the original entrance to the garage where the beam is going across the top and the front over there, facing the main part of the house, the backyard. The interior space is very small. It's just a small little powder room connected inside over here. And right now it has cathedral ceilings, and they were using it as a screen over here. The family's using it for showing movies, and basically just a family room. The house is only 1,700 square feet, and this is just a way that they can expand the house a little bit. This over. As you can see on the site plan, there is a driveway that didn't meet code of its time. There was no code in terms of that having to have a 5-foot buffer, and that is the parking spaces to get into the lot that was there originally. In order to convert this back, this whole backyard area would have to be lost for turnaround space for the garage, and they would rather just keep the cars outside on the side driveway that's there right now. So we're just looking to maintain what's there. They don't want to make any changes. We're not enlarging it or anything like that. We're not looking to rent it out to anybody. It's not there's no kitchen of any sort in there. It's just, like I said in the photographs, you can see it's just a small little powder room in the space itself. And I'm open for questions.
Could you repeat the square footage for the garage
The garage,
space?
I did a check on it. It's 325 square feet total. So.
Okay. The question I have is, you're just gonna leave it the way it is, not changing anything, just as is?
Not changing
Nothing.
anything. No, and if we get approval to maintain
Yeah.
it, we will bring in a licensed plumber and a licensed electrician to
Yeah.
make sure everything is 100% legal, especially
Yeah.
with the bathroom.
Yeah.
It has to be done correctly.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
So it just come, is there anybody on the public that wants to comment on Zoom? Oh, sorry, right. My, may I make, I'm making, does anyone have a motion to open the public hearing?
Make a motion to open public hearing.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anyone on Zoom? No. Okay. All right. Seeing no comments from the public at this time, we will leave. Do we have a motion to leave the public hearing open?
Make a motion.
Second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. Thank you. We'll leave the public hearing open to the meeting next month.
Yep.
Thank you.
Take care. Feel better. Thank you.
You have 86 Maple Avenue.
Hello. Oh. Hello, my name is Milton Suki. Representing from a SNR Contracting and Service, and I'm representing homeowners of 86 Maple Avenue. We are requesting a permit for deck replacing. We are requesting an additional 4 feet extension because the deck that they have right now is way too small. So that's why we need the variance for the 4 feet. That's pretty much it. If you have any questions?
How big is the existing deck now?
Right now, the existing decking, it's 5 feet.
So you're looking to make a 9-foot deck?
No, actually, I'm sorry, I am wrong. Because the new deck is going to be 11, and we are requesting for 4 feet, so that means it's 7 feet.
Okay, understood. Can you describe how close this deck is to neighboring properties?
Neighbor, the setback, it's 20 feet 9 inches and a half. I mean, that would be the new deck.
Okay. Do you have anything you want to put up on the
Yep.
board so that the public could take a look at what you're proposing? I don't know.
Yeah, thank you. So on this picture, that's where the existing decking is. You can see it's very small.
And
Um,
and it looks like it's in great disrepair.
Yeah, it's in a really bad condition. So literally, it's non-usable. So the new deck, it will be as this one. It's projected 11 feet. We do have on the new deck, it's going to be 20 feet and 9 inches and a half to the property line. So that's why it's that we are requesting the additional 4 feet. So the new deck can be usable once it's replaced. You have any other questions?
And the new deck will come right up to the little wall right there, right up to the bush.
And
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
yes, it will be right up to
right,
this.
right, almost flush to there.
Yes, yeah.
Can we just zoom in on the picture again? Could you just show so the public can see where the deck
It's
is?
going to be up to here.
And the new deck is gonna be at the same elevation as the current deck?
Yes. Since it's projecting a little more, so literally it's going to be much lower to the ground because it's going to be extending and the ground it's a slope, so it's not going to be this high. Right now, if I'm not wrong, it has like 2-3 steps.
Yeah.
The new deck is going to be only 1 step.
And aside from extending forward, will it be extending off to the side as well? Or-
Yes, we will be extending, but we are inside the the setback, so that's not a problem. It's just going to the back of the property.
And then the distance from the side, how far is it from the limit for the setback, for the distance from the fence to the end of the side of the deck? How much room do you have left before you're at the buffer limit according to the code?
How much
Do you mean in the rear?
The rear,
So,
no, the side.
The side.
How,
on the side?
yeah.
That's what it is? 20
But the setbacks is 25?
That's
talking
for the
about on the
rear, I'm
side.
talking about on the side.
on the side.
I know you're in conformance, I just wanna know if you're like right up against the limit
That's
there.
much less than that. If I'm not reading wrong, it's about 13.6 to the side. Yeah, to one side.
So the one side you have 13.60, and does anybody recall what the requirement is there?
The house, is, if I don't know if you guys can see it, but the house, it does extend even much further from the deck and each side.
you're saying the house extends further than the
Than the
deck?
deck, yes.
Than the deck, okay, so
Yes,
then.
and on both sides.
both sides.
I mean, I know it's small, but I don't know if you guys can see it.
Mm-hmm.
But on both sides, the deck is much smaller than the house itself.
And in the rear yard, is there any sort of buffer between the rear yard of this property and the neighbor behind?
Yeah, there is a wood fence, a 6-foot fence. I think the fence belongs to, I'm not 100% sure if it's my client's fence. Oh, the neighbor's fence. It's the neighbor's fence. It's a wood fence on the back and chain link with bushes on each side of the property.
Okay. I tell you, actually, I took a walk there today before I came here. I saw that deck. It's like real disrepair. And the way we should explain it to me is it's going to come up. It's going to come up to the wall, and I think that bush is going to be moved over to the right. I think a little bit more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's bushes.
Yeah.
It's going to be these bushes are going to be moved so we can get the stairs
Okay.
for the new deck. So it's going to be much space in there.
Yeah, you still got the little green space you have in the back. Yeah. I saw the tree the way it was cutting back there. Yeah.
Yep.
I saw the fence. Yeah.
And as far as neighboring homes, do any of the neighboring homes have decks that are similar to this?
Yes. The one on the right and one on the left. I think the one on the, what is it, 84? I think they have a second floor deck. No, I don't recall. Is it lower deck? Is it lower deck? On the 88, they do have a deck as well. Yeah, 88 has one. Yep.
Do the owners, do you want to say anything? No, you don't have to. I'm just. Can you just
Yeah,
take the microphone?
Take the mic. Yeah. Yeah. There you go.
So the board, we just want to ask, we just like to have the deck, it's usable and useful, not the emergency exit. Like you visited my house, you can see it was just emergency exit. We want to have the space that we can enjoy outside, especially going through the pandemic. And even after the pandemic, we just want to have some space that we can use and enjoy ourselves.
Thank you. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Just curious, Member Fiore or any of you who can speak to it, given the fence at the back of the property, are you able to see directly into your rear neighbor's yard? No, okay.
Yeah, I couldn't.
So if my back neighbor, if they want to see us, or if we can see them, if they want to see us, they have to be on the second floor of their house.
Okay.
They have to peeking in to really see our house or our yard.
Okay, thank you.
Do we have a motion to open up to public hearing?
Yeah, I think it's still open.
Oh, that's right. It's
Yeah,
open.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Okay,
Yeah.
make a motion to continue the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Are there any members of the public that would like to comment?
Yeah.
Yes, in the back. Please come up. Just state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Ariel Frost, 41 Sylvan Avenue. I'm the neighbor being referred to in the back with the fence. So those drawings are very small. It's hard for me to tell how wide it is. But I believe from last time it was somewhere in the range of like 20 feet wide. So they can correct me if I'm wrong, how wide the deck is going to be.
How wide?
Yep.
15 feet.
Okay, so I'm a lawyer. We're notoriously bad at math. So, or at least we like to joke that we are. So 15 times, you know, I'm not even going to count the 2.5 inches. 15 times 4 is 60 feet. So I don't think it's appropriate to just frame this as a 4-foot, 2.5 inch variance. It's encroaching into the setback a total of 60 square feet. The setbacks exist for a reason. The A5 district is small lots. I've stayed within the setbacks in any work I've done. I looked into the setbacks before I bought my house because the backyard was a huge selling point. So, you know, it's something like a quarter of the setback or something. Like, we can do the math, but I also don't know, okay, fine, their deck is in disrepair, but they can come out past where they currently are without encroaching into the setback. So, can you tell us the width, or I'm sorry, the depth of the deck that you can build without encroaching? 7 feet. 7 feet's not nothing for a deck. There's plenty of decks in the neighborhood that are 7 feet deep, and they want to do 7 by 15, and it sounds like they can even go wider than that. So they can do 7 by whatever to get to the side yard setback in A5 is 9 feet. So they can go wider. There's ways for them to get more space. I know what you guys care about is your 5-prong test. So before I lose your attention, I'll address that, and then I'll go back into some of my more personal things. I don't think there's any unnecessary hardship here. Their deck is in disrepair, but they can repair it and replace it and stay within the setbacks. Rebuilding the deck within the setback would not impede a reasonable return on their property. They bought the property with this existing deck like that. There's no unique hardship here. The setback applies to the entire A5 district, and many people have small decks or many people have no decks. And the requested variance will in fact alter the character of the neighborhood by allowing overbuilding by whatever I just calculated, 60 feet, which when you overbuild lots, I don't know if any of you have driven through Queens lately, and you see these big mansions that are built to the extreme limits of the lots, it looks terrible. So it's not in keeping with the neighborhood. And as for the last part, I assume that this is not self-created. Like, they probably bought the house this way. But the need for the variance, in my opinion, is self-created because they can rebuild the deck and stay within the setbacks. So the only other things I'll mention is, again, I think the overall square footage is important to keep in mind and not just frame it as 4 feet, 2.5 inches. I have 2 young boys. They have small dogs. I don't want a situation where there's noise concerns on either side. Just like they say fences make good neighbors, setbacks make good neighbors. And I don't want any problems arising from that. There's no need for them to be closer. And I've already greatly expressed the concerns over the tree, but I have concerns that it'll be more of a concern the closer they are to the tree. That's the gist of it. I don't think it justifies the variance. I think that they can do something that's usable, enjoyable, and of good quality without the variance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, I know our building inspector's on Zoom, and he just wanted to pass along, it's a 16% variance is what the applicant is seeking for. So if you want to put in percentages, that's what we're talking about.
Thank you. I'll speak for myself and not for the rest of the board, but I think, I think that while this is a deck, it's important to note, as the presenters noted, that it is pretty much to grade. It's not as though this space can be used by the owners as it is now, whether or not there is a slightly elevated structure or not, which I think is important to note. Are there any other comments from the public? Does a member have a motion?
Madam Chair, I think you need to
Oh,
make.
sorry. Thank you very much. I apologize. Yes. Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Make a motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there a motion by oral application from a member?
No, read it. On the application of Yuzuko Yamaguchi, whose address is 86 Maple Avenue, Tuckahoe, for a variance from section 4-2.4.3 of the Village of Tuckahoe's zoning code for the enlargement of an existing deck. We are in possession of all documents and information to make a determination with respect to seeker. We determine that a negative declaration is appropriate. We find that based on several work sessions and public hearings that the applicant has met his burden as to the 5-prong test, and therefore the area variance is granted.
Is there a second on the motion?
I'll second it.
Please poll the board.
Yes. Member Peretta?
In favor?
Member Fiore?
In favor.
Member Rinaldi?
In favor.
Member Suarez?
In favor.
And Chairperson Brown?
In favor. All right.
All right.
Yep, you're good. Thank you.
Yep.
Good luck. Seeing that there are no other items on the agenda for this evening, is there a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Good night, Tuckahoe.